Hi, this is Lisa Klink, and you're listening to the SyFy Sistas.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the SyFy Sistas podcast, where we give you our point of view. I'm Tamia Harper, and tonight I'm joined by my sisters, Sabrina Wood and Fran T.
What's happening?
What is happening, Sister Fran? What's happening is this show tonight is a big deal for the SyFy Sistas because we get to talk to a woman who has been a supporter of ours since the very beginning and one of the first people that we all really hardcore geeked out about. to a woman. You know her. She's a writer. She's an executive story editor. She's a producer. She's a pretty cool animal rescue fanatic, right?
Oh, yeah.
And she was a cool Jeopardy contestant, and I saw those shows. She wrote a lot on Voyager. She wrote some DS9. She's written for Star Trek The Experience. I know a lot of my friends have been to that, the Borg Invasion. A lot of my friends were there. She wrote for Earth Final Conflict, Martial Law, Buzz Lightyear of Star Command, Roswell, Painkiller Jane, and other things, and lots of books out there as well. And she's none other than Lisa Klink. Hi, Lisa.
Yay!
Hi there. How are you?
We're so good.
We're buzzing. We are buzzing.
I mean, when I'm talking about folks, talking about somebody who has been with us from the very beginning, it's like, SyFy Sistas came on the scene, and one of the first people to start following us was Lisa Klink. And I mean, you talk about some sisters being like, no way.
No way. Did you see? Oh my God, there were like screenshots going around. We were all like, oh, God.
Oh, you guys are great.
Thank you so
We've all
much.
got to stick together. I mean, women in sci-fi are still, on the rare side. So we do need to stick together.
This is true.
Oh my God, truer words were never spoken. And we're definitely going to get into that, because, we were just talking before the show, y'all, about Trek Talks and talking about mentorship, talking about Jeri Taylor, and that made me think of mentorship. And we're going to come back to that because that's some good stuff right there. And it's just really inspiring, the relationship that the two of you had. So we definitely want to talk about it today. But I want to start way back when you were a little girl, because I read on your page that your mom used to drop you off at the bookstore going to the mall. And I was like, that was me. I was that kid too, like in the bookstore. And then I think we were going around. Fran, you were in the library, right?
I was the library person. We didn't have book. Well, there may have been bookstores, but I didn't go there. I went to the library. I was the library geek child.
And you too, Sabrina, right?
Yes. In fact, I just got a DC library card last weekend. I'm so excited.
Yay! But I recognize specifically like going to the mall, and like my grandparents, especially, because I would spend the summers with them, and they would go to the mall all the time. Right. And the only thing I wanted to do when we went to the mall was go to the bookstore, and they would be gone for hours, and they would come back and I'd have a pile of books around me on the floor.
Yeah, no, I've been obsessed with stories, both reading them and telling them and watching them ever since I was little.
I get it. Was it like for me, it was like a refuge. How was it for you? Or was it just like what was it like?
Well, I was an only child, and so I think it was sort of my way of entertaining myself. I had all my my imaginary friends around me, and we all got to go to adventures together, and they were always there when I needed them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Right. That makes so much sense. I was an only child for a lot of my life too, until I got stepsisters and stepbrothers and stuff, But yeah, that was the way I entertained myself too. Fran, you were nodding at that too, huh?
Oh, yeah. Well, I wasn't an only child, but it took me out from where I was at the time, reading books, and they just transported me. See what I did there? Okay.
Yes.
They just transported me to another world or another place, and I loved it.
Yeah, you get to kind
Mhm.
of borrow somebody else's life for a little while and
Mm.
kind of see what it's like to be them. And I love that.
That's such a beautiful way of putting it too.
Mm.
Yeah, I think books were the first place that taught me to empathy,
Hmm.
and taught me how to really look at what somebody else might be going through, how they might be feeling.
Hmm.
So I'm
Yeah, very
curious,
much so.
Yeah.
what was your first sci-fi book? Do you
Well, I
remember?
don't really remember. I remember Star Wars was my first sci-fi movie.
Mm.
Oh.
Yeah, I was much more into movies than I was into books at the time. I mean, science fiction, because
Hmm.
stuff like Dune, just went over my head.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, watched Star Wars and Star Trek, of course, and I remember the
Oh
miniseries that
God,
was
Okay.
yes. Oh my God. I remember being glued
Scissors,
to my television for V.
you know,
Yes,
the snake eyes.
exactly.
Mhm. Well,
And
I mean,
around that time, I started telling stories too. My friends and I started making up plays, and I started writing short stories, and some of those were sci-fi, but a
mhm.
lot of them were more, teen or tween girl,
Hmm.
Yeah,
having adventures in the world.
I love that.
Hmm.
Was there a particular book when you were young that sort of imprinted on you?
Well, I remember at first I didn't like reading the school books so much. I felt like I was being sort of being forced to. And I remember
Yes.
the first book that I really liked was A Tree Grows in Brooklyn.
Oh
Oh.
yeah.
I loved that book, and it was like,
Yeah.
Yes,
hey, it's a school book.
the
It
Barbara,
isn't too bad. And that was like a revelation. And I started
the Barbara
really
Clearing,
enjoying my
right?
school reading. Yes, it was
Hmm.
about Francie, who was a girl in Brooklyn,
Brooklyn.
and
Hmm.
her mom and her father was an alcoholic, and
Oh yeah.
sort of
Yeah,
about her upbringing.
Yeah,
I read that.
that
Hmm.
was
It was
such
a
a good
great
book.
movie. It was a great movie.
Yes.
So then you start writing I started writing when I was little too, but I didn't get the bug like that I was writing, like doing compulsively. My thing that I used to pretend that I was a DJ,
Yeah.
like a radio DJ. Yes. And I would like talk in my little tape recorder, and I would record shows, and then I would space the songs out and like record the songs from the radio, and like splice together my own tapes. Like
Yeah.
I wanted to be a DJ so bad. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
That was my pretend. I started writing some little stories because I ended up telling one of our friends who came over one day, one of my parents' friends, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm a writer." And I was like, "Oh, I like to write too." But I literally meant like I like to write letters, like I
Mm.
like to form letters and make the shapes and do calligraphy. And then she was like, "Oh, show me some of the things you've written it." And then I realized she was talking about storytelling. And from that day forward, I started telling stories.
Wow.
And it was like a happy accident, right?
Well, your
Because
first mentor.
right, exactly. And then I was like, oh, this is something that I can do. But I read compulsively, truly compulsively.
Yeah.
Hmm. So I know you've talked about it like quite a bit, like your journey into into sort of into TV writing, into script writing and everything. But, I would like to recap for our audience if they haven't heard your story a
Okay.
little bit, because I'm amazed because it seemed like you were pretty determined
Hmm.
in a way. I mean, also, really quickly, can we ask, like it says that you were born in Potomac, Maryland, which is right outside of DC. I live in
Yes.
DC. Were
Okay.
you raised there, or did you guys
Yeah, I was
move?
actually born in Washington, D.C.,
Whoop, whoop.
at George Washington Hospital.
Oh,
All
wow.
right.
And then I went to high school. I grew up in Maryland and in
Mm.
Potomac. And that's kind of where I consider that I'm from. We actually moved around a lot when I was younger, but we kind of came back to DC from high school.
Oh, that's awesome. Where'd you
Okay.
go to high school?
Holton Arms.
Wait,
It's in
stop. I
Holton
went to
Arms.
Holton Arms.
Did you seriously?
You're only a year older than me. Did you graduate in the class ahead of me?
I guess so. 1988.
I was in 89.
Oh my God.
What? What?
Holy cow. Oh
That's
my
wild.
God. Find a way or make one.
Exactly.
Go find that yearbook and look again.
No
Oh
kidding.
my God. No wonder your name always stood out to me. And I was like, wow, I really know that name. I don't know why I know that name.
Wow, we go way back.
That's awesome. And okay, we could talk about it later. I'm derailing because
that's
we have
ridiculous.
another Holton Arms who's a person who's part of our SyFy Sistas family.
Oh, yeah?
And that's Tanya Scott Thomas,
Okay.
who does the Two Moons and a Microphone Elf Quest podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, on the live show. Okay. Anyway, woo, yay, go Holton.
That is crazy.
Okay. All right. So your journey to TV, because it seemed like you were pretty determined to write in some kind of way. Did you start off wanting to do TV writing?
Well, actually, I started off wanting to direct. That's what got me in the car and got me driving out to Hollywood. I wanted to direct action movies. I wanted to be Jim Cameron.
Nice.
Basically, because
I love
Terminator 2 had just come out and The Abyss had just come out, and I said I want to do that. So I literally came out here, and I was very lucky in that I started reading scripts, doing development, basically writing coverage for various people, and I ended up working for a director, Catherine Bigelow.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I did. I read scripts for her.
Oh, wow.
And she was the only woman directing action movies at the
Yes.
time. And so I really lucked into that job pretty well. And she was directing Strange Days at the time.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
So I went down to the set and I watched her directing and I said, I do not want to do this.
Mm.
It was too much. She was just like the center of this hurricane, and everybody kept coming to her and asking her questions, and it was just nonstop. And I'm more a writer at heart. I kind of like working by myself in the office and kind of, sliding pages under the door so that somebody else can take it off and, direct it. So that was, but it was a really good education because I got to read tons of scripts and analyze them.
Mm-hmm.
And realized that I actually didn't want to direct. I wanted to be in on the storytelling a little earlier. I wanted to write the script.
Mm-hmm.
So I tried writing a couple of action movies, which were very bad. And at the time, Next Generation was on the air. And so I went to a Star Trek convention. And they had a writer's panel. And I remember Brennan Braga was there and Ron Moore was there. And they talked about the script submission policy. Which was basically anybody could send a sample script of Star Trek and somebody would read it. And this was just unheard of. Nobody else in the business did this. And so I thought, well, I like Star Trek. I could write one of those.
And that's why we love you.
Well, I wrote a Next Generation sample and I sent it in. And I got called into pitch for Deep Space Nine, which was just starting up.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I was very lucky. I got pulled out of like a couple thousand scripts that they received every year. And I started pitching for Deep Space Nine.
May I ask you this? Did you use your name or did you use like a pseudonym or initials? Did you use
I used my real name.
Okay.
Yeah, I was Lisa.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know why I asked that, right?
Yeah,
Because
I know that it's easier sometimes to kind of hide your gender, get taken a little more seriously. Yeah.
Okay.
I know. But
Great.
no, I didn't.
That's awesome.
I think Star Trek was a little beyond its time with that.
It was. And it helped that Jeri Taylor was there.
Yes.
And was definitely, she was very protective of equality and wanted to make sure that men and women both equally got a chance.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. I love that.
And there's no way a Holton girl's going to hide her name anyway.
It's true.
Oh my God. I love that. So it seemed like, did she take you under her wing pretty early, or like when did you actually get to meet her?
Well, when I was pitching for Deep Space Nine and then Voyager started and I started pitching for Voyager as well. And I think that's how I first met her, was when I was coming in to pitch stories. And, but during that time, I actually sold a story to Deep Space Nine.
Okay.
And I ended up writing that episode, and it was called Hippocratic Oath.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
I love that one.
Yeah, it came out really well. I was really happy
Mhm.
with it.
Yeah.
And Ira Stephen Bear, who was the executive producer of Deep Space Nine, knew that Jeri Taylor was looking to hire people for Voyager. So he sent her my script and said, take a look at this writer. And she did, and she hired me.
Wow.
Golly, I love these kind of stories. I'm so
Yeah.
inspired.
Right? It gives you like goosebumps,
It does.
like it's really beautiful. It's really beautiful. It's like, good things happening to good
Good
people,
people.
but also good people making good things happen. They say don't meet your heroes, but sometimes,
Oh, I met all of them. Yeah.
right. And in
Mm.
Star Trek, like, they tend to be all right.
Yeah.
We're all human, but they tend to be better than your average bear.
Yeah.
So yeah. Oh my God. I love
And yeah,
that.
she became my mentor pretty quickly. Obviously, I mean, she and I were the only women in the room. And I was like 25 or 26 at the
Oh
time. I
my
mean, I was just a
God.
baby. And so she was definitely looking out for me. It was me and Jeri and like four guys
Mm,
in the room.
Mhm.
And she really made sure that I always got heard,
mm,
that I wasn't just talked over, and that because her general approach was the best idea wins.
mm.
It doesn't matter if it comes from the co-executive producer or the staff writer or whoever it comes from. If it's a good idea, then it wins the day. And that was, I think, just a really good way to run a show.
Yeah, I love that.
So do you think that the experience that you had from pitching prior to that helped you in that writer's room with those guys?
Yes, I do. I
Mm,
do. Because you have to be confident when you go into pitch.
Mm,
You have to pitch each story as if it's like the best story ever. And the kind of the same in a writer's room. You know that most of the ideas you pitch out are going to get shot down. That's
okay.
just the way it is. 9 out of 10 times it's going to be no.
hmm
But you just have to keep on pitching again anyway, because you never know. Maybe something that you pitch that doesn't work inspires somebody else to come up with something that does work. Or maybe you rework an idea of yours and it eventually becomes something good. So
hmm
you have to be able to just sit there and keep on pitching.
Hmm. And if you don't say anything, you're not really helping that writer's room. I mean, the whole
You are
kind of
really not.
dynamic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so interesting. I'm thinking about like the amount of the work that you have to do on ego. You
Oh, yeah.
know, I'm wondering, I was thinking like trying to put myself in that situation, in those types of situations, be like, Tamia, how would you really handle that though? Because like we get so close, protective of these ideas and our
Yeah.
little babies, and you don't want to give them up, but it calls for huge amounts of flexibility, it
Yeah.
seems.
You have
And,
to be confident that the next idea you come up with is also going to be good.
mm-hmm.
You can't just hold one idea and like fight for it and fight for it. If it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't work, let it go, come up with another one. It's
Yeah.
going to be
I
good too.
I think that is so important. Can you say that again? Because I am got to pitch something to a director, and I have been holding off on doing this pitch for like almost a year. I
Yeah.
have not done it, and it's because I really think you just hit the nail on the head. Because I only have this one script.
Hmm.
I'm so afraid that it's going to get the 9 out of 10 no,
Yeah.
that I won't know what to do when they say it. Like, so I think
Yeah.
you just solved my problem. Write something else.
Yeah.
Gotta write something else.
Write something else, you
That's what I
fool.
always tell new writers is, as soon as you finish a great script, wonderful. Start pitching it, write another one. When you get done with that, write another one. Because you just never know what's going to hit somebody the right way.
Wow. Thank you.
Sure. Good
Right.
luck.
Thank you.
All right.
So,
Yeah,
uh,
please go ahead.
well, I had that question about the writer's room because I wanted to know. You just told me something that I really wanted to hear because I'm hearing so much now that the writer's room is sort of not the way it used to be like that. So, what do you think about the way the TV series are done now and the way writers are treated now?
I think it's very different, and I think it's worse.
Mhm.
Ooh,
Just from what I understand, I mean, I actually haven't been in a writer's room for a little while now, but from what I
sure.
understand from my friends, um, they'll basically convene a writer's room and they'll write all the episodes. I mean, they'll have a small writer's room, maybe 3 or 4 people,
Hmm.
which is unfortunate because that's fewer jobs, for TV
Mhm.
writers. And then they'll write the entire season of scripts before they start production.
Mm.
And then they'll send the writers home.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And when I was working, we would basically start writing the scripts, and we get a couple of them done before production started, but we would be writing simultaneously as we were shooting. And so we would always be around to like go to production meetings and to go down to the set and to go to post-production and to learn how to produce an episode, which writers today are not learning.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate because they're going to have to run their own shows someday.
Yeah, how do you become a showrunner if you've never been on the production because, you know, you wrote your scripts and you went home?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's going to be a big problem.
Mm.
Wow.
I know, right? I know. That just gave me real pause there.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, oh, never thought about that, but that's so true. It's going to be kinky. And I was thinking about like all the times when we've talked to other writers and or heard people do interviews and they're like, well, this issue happened and then there was a rewrite and, you know, we ran into this problem on set. Who do they have on set to deal? Like, who's doing those rewrites?
I assume just the showrunner. I think that's the only person who these days, you know, stays on and does all of the rewriting themselves.
Wow.
Which is, again, a huge burden.
Yeah.
And sometimes, you know, you don't have a chance to see who's becoming popular in the show or, you know, all of a sudden, like, wow, this actor is really like, we're getting a lot of mail about this person. Mail. Okay. Well, you know what I mean. But, you know, you missed that opportunity to kind of segue, pivot, you know, add more. I mean, it used to be so dynamic and you could see even in Voyager, where things were sort of like, you know, trending towards a certain person, trending towards this, trending towards an idea, you know, or something that, you know, Janeway was going to do again and again, like, oh, this facet of Janeway is like really fascinating. Let's see this again. So I guess it's not as breathable, the show. Okay,
no, it really isn't.
I don't know what to continue.
Well, you know, I mean, I mean, the whole.
I'm sitting here like at a little mini morning going like, oh, the writer's room.
Yeah, I know. It's not the way it used to be. And I miss that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we were lucky to grow up in, you know, in that time before these things have changed. But I mean, I see things ebb and flow so much, you know, so that I'm assuming that like it's probably going to get worse for a while and then come back towards the middle because the things that we're pointing out that don't work about it are going to become more evident.
I gotta think so.
Yeah. Yeah, just like most other things, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It'll probably find a happy medium somewhere.
Yeah. But, you know, woe for those writers who are going through it now.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, it's pretty hard out there right now, I gotta say.
That's what I keep hearing.
Yeah.
Let's go back to when you were in that writer's room. And I had one question. Like Voyager, for me, has some of the best two-part episodes, which weren't really done so much in the other franchises, like maybe one or two, but and my favorite is the year that you were the story editor.
Year of Hell.
Year of Hell.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Girl, please. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And so is that something that, you know, you did 1-2-parter and like everybody was going crazy and then you were like, oh, let's do another one. But I mean, because you had so many great ones.
Yeah. Well, I think it was kind of the push-pull of Paramount wanting each episode to be a standalone because they wanted you to be able to watch it in syndication in any order.
Okay.
And so you could watch any random episode and not have to have seen what happened last week. And so they, you know, obviously there's a lot of shows that are kind of go the other way and it's very serialized and you have to keep up, you know, with the plot and the characters week after week. But Paramount very much did not want it to be serialized. And so we kind of had to fight for every two-parter, you know, because, you know, that would really require the viewer to watch 2 episodes in a row. And how could you expect people to do that?
Meanwhile, there's Deep Space Nine over there.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
But they were probably like, look, we've already got one of those. We're not doing this again.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Those kids over there are crazy.
We're
Yeah,
gonna
no,
leave
I
them
think it was a little bit
alone.
reaction. Yeah.
Yeah.
Leave them alone. Let them sterilize. But you all can't do that though.
Nope. Nope.
We're really paying attention to you all.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah, you
Well,
were
we were
like,
starting a new network. I mean, UPN
Yeah.
was kind of on our
Yeah.
shoulders.
you guys were really under the microscope in a way that the other shows were not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for everything, you had like the woman captain, you had a woman who was show running, you're starting off a new network. It's like,
Hmm.
oh my God, that must have felt, I mean, I don't know. How did that feel? Like, I don't want to put words in your mouth. I was just thinking that, I mean, it was probably pretty tough in
Well, we
sometimes.
were definitely sort of Paramount's sort of cash cow at the moment, and they were very interested in everything that we were doing.
Mhm.
And so they always had something to say. We always had to run everything by the network and by the studio.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean there was a lot of their fingerprints on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
and this is I don't know what this is for me, but the first time when I heard Janeway, when Tom, I think, said, yes, sir, or something like that, and she said something to the fact of, oh, yes, Captain, or, yes, ma'am, don't call me sir, basically, is what she said.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, Jeri Taylor had something to do with that.
Oh yeah.
Because on all the shows, they would address the officers as sir.
Hmm.
And I didn't understand that. And then when Jane went, I'm like, all right. I was like, oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I knew she had something to do with it.
Oh yeah.
And
No, Janeway was very much her baby.
Mhm.
She was very protective of Janeway and very much, was really kind of the soul of Janeway, and
Mhm.
but the way that she said it was going to happen, it was going to happen.
All right.
Yeah. Damn right.
I thought so. Okay. Thank you.
I love that I love that there was this, relationship between the two of you, and that she was protective of you, and like she recognized the importance of having you there, and what she was passing on.
Hmm.
I mean, do you feel like she was, consciously saying, like, guiding you and helping you to grow?
Well, I think she did that with all of us,
Hmm.
with all of the writers. I mean, she was very much had that like mom energy, that she created such a safe space, in the writer's room, so that everybody had a chance to grow and to explore and to kind of, suggest things that might sound a little silly, but it's okay. We'll run with it, and we all felt empowered, to really try different things. And again, that's what I think makes a really good showrunner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I have one episode that always sticks with me when I see it come on. Like a lot of times, I'll tell you, a lot of times when the episode starts, I can't remember which Voyager it is. Now that's how good I get into the story, because it's like I'm like, oh, which one is this? And I'm watching it, like I don't know what's gonna happen. Like, and I've seen it like 10 times. So, but when this one comes on, there's a couple of them. It's called Remember.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Oh,
my, and
the
it's just
Virginia
one.
Madsen.
This is one of the ones that Balana, is having dreams, and she dreams at night, and she becomes somebody else,
Hmm.
and she's in this other world,
She's in love with,
yeah,
like,
another
yeah.
guy, right. And you're like, okay, what is going on here? And then it turns, I mean, it just levels up into all this stuff. And Roxanne Dawson said, I guess at the end of the run, that this was one of the episodes she was most proudest to have been in.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that.
Yes, because she said it was really saying something. And I know you were trying to make this about a parable about the Holocaust, but it's
Yes.
so part of, it's so ready for this time of erasing history and
Yeah.
trying to, just hide things and not admit that your country or your world did something like this. That,
Yeah.
me watching it the other day, I was like, oh, do we need to watch this episode again?
I have to agree with you on that. Yeah. Yeah, no,
Brilliant.
that was really great to write. And I was so happy with the way the episode came out. I mean, and again, they cast Bruce Davison
Yeah.
as her father, and he's
Mhm.
terrific. And of
Yeah.
course, Roxanne is terrific. And I thought they just knocked it out of the park.
They did. It
Yeah.
was great.
Did
It was
they?
on the other day, just like maybe 2 days ago on
Yeah.
Blue. Yeah, and that was when it first came on. I'm like, oh yeah, I like this one. I like this one, but I couldn't remember.
Right.
Like you said, I couldn't
Yeah.
remember exactly. And then I'm like, oh yeah, this is the one with the screaming and the Holocaust. I likened it to the Holocaust and the Jews going to the concentration camps and
Yeah.
like that, but erasing the history of what they did.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's why I like this episode so much.
Yeah.
And it came back to me, about halfway through. I'm like, oh, that's it.
And it always has the same, reaction. You have the same reaction. It's just the gut kick, no matter how many times you've seen it. I just love it.
Well, I think because, like, for us in particular, like watching, I just watched it again the other day. I went through like a Lisa Klink binge.
Yeah.
It's like, let me like watch all of these. I can remember like, which ones she did. And it was, I think those of us who come from people who've been dispossessed in some kind of way. Or disenfranchised. Like that is one of those hugely important episodes. But even not, I still think it's a very common human theme, right?
Yes, it
Because
is.
human beings, we're these apes that will put other people down. We're gonna step over, we're power hungry and dominant seeking. And so there's always gonna be somebody who is less than, and I think not only does it speak specifically to people who have come from a history of oppression, but also I think it transcends and is essentially a really human story too. I think that's a lot of the power of that episode, that makes it great, that it's working on all those levels,
All over the
Well, I think
world,
that's
globally.
Yeah. And I think that's something that Star Trek can do really well, in that, taking it out of a specifically human context, in that, we're not talking specifically about the Holocaust, by taking it and making it aliens, in a way, it makes it more universal. And, everybody can kind of look at it and say, in that situation, which side would I be on?
Right.
What would I do?
Mm-hmm. Right. And I love how, I love the solution, right? To be able to tell the story is that I'm going to tell it to you, and then you pass it on, and then you pass it on. And, we've been thinking about this like a lot lately because, I think lots of communities in America right now are thinking about this, because we're looking at active erasure happening or attempts at erasure happening in front of our eyes. I don't think you can put the genie back in the bottle, honestly. Like at this point, it's a little late. I don't know what they think they're doing, but it's futile, right? And
It is.
It's just stupid nonsense. But, but we still tell our stories, and how important it is to tell and to keep an accurate accounting of the real true history alive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just the other day.
Go ahead,
sorry.
Fran.
Well, just the other day, I saw where they tried to take Harriet Tubman. They
Yep.
tried to erase Harriet Tubman. They got so much backlash from it, they had to put her back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how in the world can you erase Harriet Tubman?
I know.
How can you even attempt to do that? How could you think that was okay to do? You know, and I'm like,
Yeah. It is infuriating.
Mm-hmm.
It is. It really is.
Yeah, and this is one of those episodes that is going to go on my liberation playlist. I'll start singing my protest music and a lot of different reggae and my Star Trek,
Right.
But this one definitely that one definitely belongs in there. It's a beautiful, beautiful show. Okay, can you answer a question for me? What's the difference between being credited with a teleplay the teleplay and being like a full writer credit. Like, please, can you explain that to us novices and lay people?
Sure. Well, there's kind of two elements. There's the story and the teleplay.
Okay.
And because Star Trek, as I said, you could send in a script. Anybody could send in a script. And so often what would happen is somebody would send in a script and we would like the story, but not necessarily the teleplay.
Got it.
Not necessarily the way it was written. And so we would buy the story, which I think happened for a couple of my episodes. They were based on a story that we had bought from another writer. And so in that case, the story would be credited to the writer who brought it into us in the first place, and the teleplay would be credited to me. But if the credit is just written by, then the story and the teleplay were by the same person.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Actually, I was like, I don't understand what's going on here. What does it mean? Because I was looking at all your credits and I was like, teleplay. And then there were these ones where there was nothing next to it. And I was like, well, what does that mean? Except for, it's like, okay, she wrote that one. Okay.
Yeah. But so if I was the only credited writer, that means it was my original idea as well.
Okay.
So you wrote the story and the script.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Well, one of my favorite ones of those was Blood Fever.
Oh, thanks.
Ooh,
that's one of my favorites too, I gotta say.
So much fun, that episode. Oh my God. Oh, there was some brilliant moments of comedy in there, as well as the dire straits that they were in, but oh my God, that's such a good one.
I had a lawful amount of fun writing that one.
What'd you say, Fran?
I said, poor Tom. He turned out to be a gentleman,
Well, that's one of the things I really like about the script is that because previously Tom Paris had been sort of portrayed as like this kind of womanizer and kind of a cad, and
Randy Andy.
Yeah, and just kind of icky. And I thought, that's kind of a one note that I didn't really like about that character. And so I thought, let's put him in a situation in which he's actually like somebody kind of calls his bluff in a way.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, somebody's after you now. What are you going to do about it? And he does turn out to do the right thing about it. And I like that for him.
Yeah, we did too. Like, I mean, I know that. Yeah, because that's when I started to actually like Tom Paris a little bit. Was when people started writing him as more three-dimensionally as opposed to just like, I'm the rebel.
The cat. Yeah.
Okay, I'm the rebel and I fly the ship. Like, okay, but
it took a little while to dial in on that character, I think.
Yeah, but that was that was a good one. That was
oh, thanks.
He becomes a stand-up guy.
I know.
He does. And I had so much fun writing Vorik. Basically proposing to B'Elanna in a very Vulcan way. I just thought that was so much fun. How does a Vulcan propose marriage exactly?
What is something right? You.
Yeah.
I was dying when I remember like when I first saw that and I was like, is he trying to propose to her? Like I think I was like cleaning my room or something. Like Voyager would often be on, like I would always be like doing some crazy stuff, just like boring home stuff, right? By the time Voyager came on, because like it used to be like I would get TNG, then Deep Space Nine would come on, and then Voyager would come on. And so that was like kind of like my ritual, during it. And I just remember like putting something in my drawer or something and literally turning around to the TV and being like, wait, what? What's happening?
That's one you have to sit down and watch.
And I did.
You're like, wait a minute. The Tuvok just tell him to go to the holodeck. I was just like, oh my goodness, this is just too much. Too much information.
Go ahead, Sabrina. I know you had another one.
Oh God, one of my favorite ones is just like a classic. This is my fear of alien, night dream is scientific method.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. That's the one that keeps you up at night. And I mean, terror. Every time, that's another one. When it starts, I'm like, uh-oh.
Yeah, like when we get to see through Seven's eyes and we see the things sticking out of Janeway's head and them turning
Head.
screws. Oh my
Her
God.
splitting headache. She's had
Yeah.
for days. Couldn't sleep. I'm like, oh, you know what that
That is the fear of all time. And I just love that one. I love it because it was
Oh,
just
thank
like,
you.
yeah, that's some sci-fi aliens coming to get you stuff that you
Yep.
just
Yep.
Twilight Zone, whatever. Here it is.
Yeah, and that just came out of, people, of course, claiming that they were abducted by aliens and tested and all that kind of stuff. And I thought, what if that was us? What if we were the ones being abducted by aliens and tested and experimented on?
Oh my goodness, my goodness. Oof. Again, the feeling is always the same after I see it, just like, oh my God, like, you turn on all the lights.
Well, I want to ask, I want to move away from Star Trek for a minute, and because you did also write on Earth Final Conflict, right?
Yes.
Can you talk about that a little bit, and the differences between working on that show and working on like any of the other Star Trek shows?
Well, it was certainly different in that it wasn't like essentially a famous show, because of course Voyager was kind of part of Star Trek, which was this huge franchise that already existed, whereas Earth Final Conflict was kind of its own thing. I mean, it was created by Gene Roddenberry, and so it certainly got attention for that reason, but it was kind of starting the world building all over again. And so that was kind of fun to be on it from the ground level, and to kind of start building, what we would hope would be a new franchise.
Yeah.
I love that show.
Yeah, that's great.
I love the little he had the little phone, the phone that he had. He was like, he opened it up and it looked so much like what we have now.
Yeah.
Again, you were like predicting what was going to be in our hands.
Yep.
So, I love the aliens in that. It was just like, okay, we have first contact, but this is now what happens. It's a whole different kind of thing going on here. And then you have these people that are rebel. They're like, listen, don't believe a thing they're saying. But
Yep.
wow. Wow.
Well, I think that some of that came from what we were talking about earlier, V.
Yes,
the whole
yes.
idea of, aliens that seem like nice people, but yeah.
I'm telling you, what did I say? Vulcans, I don't believe a thing. That whole first contact is suspect to me.
Yep, wolf in sheep's clothing.
Here they come. I'm like, nah.
And now, like, you've been doing a lot of writing. Like, are you still writing on the Dead Man series, or is that previous? Those
No, I'm
books?
not really writing on that anymore. I think they've kind of concluded the Dead Man series.
Okay.
That was basically a series of books that were edited by Lee Goldberg and William Rabkin, who I had worked for on Martial Law. They were my showrunners on Martial Law, and we became friends. And so when they had an idea to do the Dead Man series, they invited me to be part of it.
Can you tell the premise of that a little bit? Because it seemed pretty cool.
Yeah, no, the idea is that our hero, and of course I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but our hero dies, basically, and is resurrected. I believe he's frozen for a while, and then he sort of thaws out, and he was dead for a moment, and he comes back to life, and he comes back with the ability to see evil in other people. And he can see it like as a physical manifestation. Like if it's somebody who's just like mildly evil, maybe they have like some sores on their face or whatever. And if it's somebody that really has like a black soul, then they'll look like a monster.
Like
and
the
so
picture
he's walking
of Dorian Gray.
Exactly like that. Yes. And so because he's the only one who can see this, he'll see somebody walking around like that, knowing that they're awful and that they're probably up to something bad, and he's the only one that knows that he can stop it.
Oh
Hmm.
my God. Oh my
Mm.
God.
Yeah,
Doesn't that sound so cool?
Yeah, like follow that guy. Like he's up to no
exactly.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And of course, he's always right that they're up to something terrible.
Yeah, like now I didn't even know about this series of books.
No.
And now I'm gonna start read. I think I've seen them on the bookshelf, but I didn't really know what they were about, you
Hmm.
know? And like so now I'm gonna go back and start reading. So like they
Well, I
sound
think they're a lot of fun. I mean, it's, obviously
yeah.
it has a dark side, but I mean, we generally treated it pretty lightly in a way, in that, we
Hmm.
kind of recognize the sort of absurdity of the situation that this guy finds himself in.
Right?
I can't even get a cup of coffee without seeing some.
Exactly. Exactly.
I know. Like, could you imagine? Like, no, I would not want that ability
No,
at all.
of
Yeah,
course not.
yeah.
I mean, I live in DC. There's just no,
Some things you don't want to know.
no,
No.
I guess anywhere. Are you still writing any Batman stuff?
Not Batman anymore, but I
Okay.
am still actually collaborating with the editor that I worked with on the Batman. Jordan Gorfinkel was an editor, my editor at DC at the time, and he
Hmm.
and I are actually working on an original graphic novel at the moment.
Oh,
Ooh.
cool.
Yeah.
Hey.
Oh, can you tell us anything about that? I mean, like without spilling the beans, sort of?
Well, it's a superhero story.
Okay, cool.
And yeah, we've basically we're working with an artist and we're writing the script, and it's really been a lot of fun to work on.
How
Okay.
was it that transition from going from like script writing to uh comic comics,
It's
because it's
it's
so like,
interesting.
yeah, it seems like it's just more and more distilled. Like when it like I
Yep.
think about writing for comic books almost like poetry, like poetry
Hmm.
versus prose, and just like really distilling down to the essence of what needs to be said and how do you say it and how do you give it the flavor and say the right thing.
No, that's a good way to put it. Because I mean, I've written novels as well. I mean, like the Dead Man books,
Mm-hmm.
and that is it's so many words. Seriously. I mean, it's like you have to include everything,
Mm-hmm.
and all the details and what the characters are thinking, and what it looks like, and what it smells like, and what it sounds like, and just everything. And
Yeah.
in television, you're writing kind of like an architectural blueprint. Because you're
Mm.
going to have other people come in, the set designer and the director and the actors that are all going to come and contribute more to it.
Mm-hmm.
And then in comics, it is, yeah, even more distilled because you have to choose, if there's an entire scene that happens, what are the 4 or 5 images that are going to get across that entire scene?
Mm.
And you have to be so concise. And I actually really like that. That kind of suits my style of writing. And so
Mm-hmm.
I'm really enjoying it.
It
Mm.
seems like you thrive in that. Like I'm about to start taking a hopefully soon I'll be taking a poetry class. Like
Oh, nice.
my writing teacher, like, she's really a poet and she's always trying to get our little group of people is like, come on, like do a poetry class with me, like, or let's do prose poetry. Like she's always trying to get us to get into some form of poetry. And I think she's so right about it though, because
Hmm.
it really makes you focus on what are you trying to say for real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what are like the 3 perfect words that are going to get that idea across?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, like it gives me a whole new appreciation for vocabulary
Hmm.
and realizing that there's just so many more words out there
Hmm.
to use. And one of them has every connotation that you're trying to impart, you know?
Yes.
Oh, it's
Yes,
so much fun.
exactly. Well, good. I hope you do that.
Me too. I'm like, I go through these cycles, these waves of like, oh, I feel like there's some writing stuff coming on. And then I go for like a year or 6 months and like write nothing,
Hmm.
and then my brain will just start kicking again and it'll be like, you know what time it is. We're not turning on the TV when we get home. We're going to be
Yep.
quiet and put some music on and sit
I hear
down.
you.
Yeah. I'm really excited about that. Okay, now, I really, really, really want to pick your brain about the Jeopardy experience.
Oh, that was so much fun.
Oh
That
my
that
God,
that's still
tell
one of
us
the coolest things I've
everything.
ever done. Well, I mean, I watched Jeopardy, of course,
Hmm.
and like everybody thought gee, I wonder if I could do that. And but because I do read so much, and I actually am lucky that I have a pretty good memory, and so I retain a lot of what I read. And so I thought, well, maybe I could do like a trivia contest. And they have, basically an open application process. They had at the time they had like periodic open applications. Right now, I think they have an apply anytime policy that if you go on the website, you can submit an application anytime. But when I did it, there was like a period of time. And so I submitted an application, and you take a practice test. Well, not practice, but you take a small version of a test, trivia test. And depending on how well you do on that, you get called in to do an in-person test.
Oh, wow.
And it's also kind of a personality test in a way to see like how you are on camera, and are you completely crazy, or do you freeze up when you're under pressure, that sort of thing. So yeah, I did the first test, and then I did the in-person test, and then they put you in a pool of possible contestants, and they say basically you're in this pool for a year and a half. We could call you at any time.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So you kind of sit there and you wait. And about 6 months later, they called me.
And then where did you have to go to film it? Out to
Sony Studios, which is in Los Angeles, in Culver City. And yeah, you go down, and again, you're one of a group of contestants who are there, and because they actually film 5 shows in a day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
My brain is hurting.
Yeah. So, you go, and basically we all showed up, and they selected 3 of the candidates to do basically the Monday episode. And I was one of the first 3 chosen. So I did the Monday episode, and I won that. And I did the Tuesday episode, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, all in the same day.
Holy cow.
Yeah. And it was great. It was great. It was so much fun, I gotta tell you.
Like you were on there for a hot minute. You kept winning though, right?
Yeah, no, I won those first 5 games. Yeah.
5-time champ.
5-time champ.
Hey,
yeah.
That's what, did that get you, did that qualify you for Tournament of Champions?
It did.
So did you do that too?
I did. Well, I came in for a 6th game, like a couple of weeks later, and I lost that game, unfortunately. So I played 6 and I lost the 6th, but I did come back for Tournament of Champions, and I lost my first game in that. But it was still a really good experience. We all went out to Las Vegas for the Tournament of Champions.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it was so much fun.
So this was during Alex Trebek time, right?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. I was so lucky I got to meet him.
Yeah, I would have really geeked out.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, big time.
Yeah.
I still look at Jeopardy with one of my clients, and every time when they introduce the guy that's on there now, always my brain wants to go, and in your host, and my head is saying Alex Trebek.
Yep.
Yep.
And it's right there, and I know I'm like, okay, no, it's Ken Jennings, but I keep wanting to, Alex names always when they say, "Here's your host," I'm like, oh gosh, he's not here anymore.
I know. That was really tragic that we lost him.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was so fine and so nice, and
he was, and he was genuinely nice.
He was funny,
you really got the feeling that he wanted you to do well. That he didn't want anybody to embarrass themselves or or lose really badly. That he wanted everybody to make a good showing.
Yeah, that's so cool. I mean, I love to hear that.
He made fun of himself on Saturday Night Live.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, what a guy! What a guy!
Yeah.
It was nice.
That makes me so happy to hear. Because like you think that you're getting a sense of somebody's character coming through the screen, and you just hope that what you're seeing is real. You know. But with him, it always seemed real. I mean, that's why he was the reason why Jeopardy is a cool game, but like they had the greatest host.
They did.
Yes.
Right.
They did.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I want to know what topic actually like would send a chill down your spine if you saw. You would be like, Oh no, not football.
Actually, football would be one of them. I am not a big sports person. That and like world geography is another one that I'm not real good in.
Yeah. Oh my God.
But it's funny, the category that I lost on in the sixth game, the final Jeopardy category that I lost on, the category was women authors.
No.
I know. Of all the categories in the world, and I did not know the answer to the women authors question.
Well, what do you remember what the question was?
I do. I will remember that until the day I die.
Was it something that you're like, damn, I really, really should have known that? Or was it just like
kind of? I mean, the question was something like she sold her first short story to the Shanghai Herald when she was 9 years old.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Pearl S. Buck.
Yes, that was the answer.
What?
Pearl S. Buck. No kidding. And I said Amy Tan.
See, I was thinking more current.
Yeah.
I was thinking Amy Tan too.
Yeah, I had never read The Good Earth. And so I wasn't familiar with Pearl S. Buck. And so I blew it.
I read The Good Earth too. I read that book.
Yeah.
I don't know where I got that from, but I got it.
You got it.
Way back.
Oh my God. We'll have to do a SyFy Sistas Jeopardy thing and invite you, Lisa.
That would be great.
You could
No
kick
football.
all of our asses.
I only got one question. You got all the rest of them.
I suck. Like I would watch Jeopardy like almost religiously.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I would, and I would have so much fun. And I get so mad if I was watching with people who didn't answer in the form of a question. I'm like, no, you are not playing with me because you're cheating. You're cheating. Like you got to stop. And then my friends would just do it just to annoy me. And I'm like,
you gotta phrase it right.
Yeah, you gotta phrase it right. Otherwise, you're not playing Jeopardy. You're like
just
playing
shouting out answers.
Trivial Pursuit or something.
I should say who was Pearl S.
Exactly.
See, that's right.
Exactly. You would have gotten points off for that.
So is there anything else on the horizon for you that you want to shout out or promote right now that you're working on or is out?
Well, I told you I was working on the graphic novel, and be certainly happy when that comes out. But something else that your listeners might like is that I do my own podcast. It's called, or I'm a co-host of a podcast called the Treksperts Briefing Room.
That's right.
And,
okay.
Yeah, and basically we'll watch an episode of Trek along with, one of the creatives involved in it, either the writer or the director, one of the actors, or sometimes we've had like an expert. We had like a bioethicist, talk about an episode, and we've talked to the science advisors on the current series. And we'll basically just watch the episode together and discuss it. And it is so much fun. It is so much fun. I'm really enjoying it.
Add that to the Spotify list.
Yeah.
No joke. Like I will be listening to that tomorrow. I mean, I actually saw that about that. And I was like, I haven't listened to that show. I really need to listen to that show.
Well, it's great. I mean, it's given me an excuse to reach out to all these people that I haven't seen for like 25 years, And like when I went to Star Trek Las Vegas convention last year, I got to approach all these people who are on the current shows, who I wouldn't have another reason to meet, and walk out to them and said, "Do you want to be on this podcast?" And so I've met so many great people.
That's awesome. Podcasting is really cool like that.
It is.
Yeah.
Like I have a valid reason for butting in and asking you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I think in our community too, in the Star Trek community, like we're really fortunate that people are just so generous.
Yes, they are.
With their time, and it kind of spoils us, because yeah, I mean, I don't think I could be doing a podcast for any other fandom, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know, but you're right that everybody I've approached about doing the Trek podcast has been very generous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet.
Maybe British Mysteries.
Maybe.
That's my other favorite love. Like, I mean, not the hard boiled, like not the hard hardcore, like serious ones. Like I love a good cozy mystery or
Yeah.
a lighter fare mystery. Like, I mean, everybody calls Agatha Christie cozy, but there was nothing really cozy about it.
I
Like, she's
wouldn't call
very
it that at
dark,
all.
you know,
Yeah.
she's very dark. But you know, I enjoyed like the Father Browns and the Death in Paradise, and you know, a
Hmm.
bunch of those little shows. So
Yeah.
that could be the only other thing I could do a podcast about. But it still wouldn't be the same.
Yeah.
And you've been doing, and like really quick before we go, I just want to give a shout out to your work in animal rescue. Can you talk
yeah.
about that and how you got started in that and what you're doing with that?
Well, I got started volunteering for an organization called Much Love Animal Rescue. And I was living in Santa Monica at the time, and that's where they would have weekend adoptions. And so I just was walking by and, saw these cute dogs and stopped by and petted them and asked if they needed help, and they did. And
Wow.
I worked with them for, God, maybe 20 years, something like that.
Wow.
But for the past 7 years, I've been actually volunteering with Best Friends Animal Society, which is this huge organization. It's based actually out of Utah. It has this massive sanctuary. It's like 300 acres
Wow.
of, dogs and cats and horses and pigs and sheep and birds and lizards and just everything that you
Wow.
could possibly have as a pet. And then they have an office in Los Angeles that just does cats and dogs. And I volunteer there, actually working with their photographer to take pictures of the new animals when they come into the shelter.
Oh, that's so cool.
It's great. I love it.
Oh.
I love it.
There was a star on Mark and Kelly. I get to look at these shows, and Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yes.
And she did a documentary on the different pets and stuff, and she showed it's global, and she said her house was like they dropped off animals at her house because the first time she really came out of her shell was when her mom and dad bought her a dog.
Yeah.
And she was just wonderful on that show this morning about the pets, and it was like, oh, I want to adopt something. Let me adopt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to resist.
It really is.
It is. Well, as you can see, I have a cat, but I love dogs too, and so I go and I kind of get my dog fix, by going to the shelter.
Oh, that's beautiful. Like I hope people listening, like it might inspire more people to be active, as well. Like that. I know that if I don't think. Okay, it's like library books for me. It's the reason I don't go to the library, because I don't return things.
Might be a problem.
It is a problem. It was a big problem here in DC for a long time until I had a big, huge bill I had to take care of. There were multiple books from the Georgetown Library, like the DC Public Georgetown Library, that I did not return, like some Franz Fanon and some other things. I was like, you know what? Here's the fine. Eventually, I was like, let me just shovel this money over to you. And, I love the library, but I'm not a good library patron.
Well, I'm sure they love you.
Well, they loved me then. And then ever since then, I was like, nope, I'm done. I'm good. Thank you. Except for every once in a while, libraries will like have a nice sale.
Yeah.
And oh my God, those bad boys just come away loaded with books. My big heavy sigh before that was when we were talking about the animals was because like I really can't have an animal, right? I could have it. I could adopt another animal friend, but I would be a terrible parent, and it wouldn't be a good situation for them because I'm not home right now. Like I'm in a point in my life where I'm out of the house most of the day, so it would just be terrible. So that's why I don't have an animal companion with me right now. But,
yeah. No, that's good of you to kind of take that into account.
Yeah. I'll be able to be a good mommy again someday soon, Well, Lisa, thank you so much for taking time to talk to us. Thank you so very, very much for, being such a stalwart supporter from day one, and you're just such a cool woman. I mean, you really are. And we love your brain and we love your talent. So thanks for joining us.
No, thanks so much for having me.
Oh, this
and I'll
is
have
great.
to have you guys on my podcast one of these days.
You know it, baby.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Sabrina,
Yes.
you want to let people how does it go?
All of that. I'm
Yeah.
going to tell people where to find us.
Yeah, and where they can share their thoughts about any of Lisa's episodes, favorite Voyager episodes, or anything else that she's written.
Yes. You can find us at SyFy Sistas.com. That's SyFySistas.com. Join us on the mothership. That's MUTHASHIP. And the Sci-Fi Book Club, both on Facebook.
SyFy Sistas Book Club.
SyFy Sistas Book Club, both on Facebook. On Instagram and Threads, it's sci-fi.sisters, and under the blue skies as SyFy Sisters. For more interviews, the live show, and our infamous Top 10 series, subscribe to our YouTube channel at SyFy Sisters, Inc. Become a patron of SyFy Sisters today at patreon.com/SyFy Sisters. The Trek Geek Network's presenting sponsor is Fansets. Go to fanset.com for pins and memorabilia from all your favorite franchises. Visit fansets.com and use Trek Geeks, all caps, that's Trek Geeks, all caps, for your exclusive 10% discount. Our friends at Stranger Comics, the best in fantasy comics, invite our listeners to visit strangercomics.com and use SFS to receive an exclusive 10% discount. Let me say that again. Our friends is Stranger Comics, the best in fantasy comics. Invite our listeners to visit strangercomics.com and use SFS to receive an exclusive 10% discount. They have some really cool stuff over there. Go over there. After listening to this podcast, please rate us and write a review. We may just read it on an upcoming episode.
All right. Thank you. And we got to thank the baddest, most wonderful associate producers in all the universes. That's Sailor Marge, Karen Dramera, and Stephanie Baker. Thank you guys so much for your support. We would not be possible without you. And thank you, everybody, for listening. We love you all. Peace, love, and hair grease, my friends. Hey everybody, Sister Tamia here with the shorty shoutouts for this month. We'd like to thank the following patrons for your amazing support. Mark R.G., Kat, Anthony Aponte, Frankie Dawn Engelbert, Jay-Z, Pranakasha, Daryl Lockhart, Janet K. Harlow, Eric, Lamaya Lancaster, Allie Ashmead, B. No, Tara, Cleo Townsend, Sandra Aponte, Lenny, Michael Stakem, Allison Leach Hyde, Mike and Kristen Holton, Ayana Mae Tom, Casey Shafsky, Brad DeMag, Mike Nauer, Cassandra, Bruce McMillan, LJ, Tara Jefferson, Bernadette Garcia Galvez, Rhonda G., Rita Persant Nethersole, Bill Erickson, Zakia Graham, Linda Anderegg, Jeffrey Cochran, Old Klein, Peter Heisler, Olga Kravchuk, TJ Jackson Bay, Liza Albright, Kaylia Zawaki, Stephanie Baker, Sailor Marge, Stephanie Dole, Jamal Taylor, Scott Jensen, Ann Bradley, L.M., Dave A. Gregory, Eve England, Dafid Balston, Karen Dramera, Sue K., Muhammad Noor, Susan V. Gruner, and Anna Post. Thank you all so much for your contributions. We love you.